Hello, friends, and welcome back to the new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. Today we have another set of 3 new stories to tell. But before we begin, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Get off your damn chair and help! Hey guys, I'm currently working for a third-party vendor for one of the most well-known retail stores in the U.S., hint hint, Blue Vest era. My priority is selling mobile data plans and mobile accessories. In other words, I'm the phone person. This also means that while I work at the electronics counter in the store of Blue Vests, I don't actually work for them. This, of course, means there are certain tasks I'm not supposed to do, including ringing up people that aren't purchasing any mobile accessories. There are sometimes exceptions, like when the rest of the electronics associates are swamped because of understaffing. While I try to help out when they're super busy, the point is, I'm not supposed to do it. One afternoon, when I was adding some inventory into the system, one of the associates asked if I could ring up this lady, who's now Karen, who was buying iPhone screen protectors. He was the only associate working at the time. There was a mini line of 5 people. He wanted to help the next customer while I rang up Karen. So one thing I forgot to mention is that I have my own little area at the electronics counter. There I have my own little seat and computer that many customers have mistaken as a cash register. It's understandable, since there is also a card reader there. Not much happened while I was checking her items out. It was just any normal transaction at the cash register. She thanks me and I tell her to have a good day. Afterward, I go back to my seat to complete the inventory. About 10 minutes later, while I'm still sitting at my computer, it happens. Karen taps her nails on my counter. I look at her, smiling. Yes. She then shoves her pointy finger right in my face. You need to get off your damn chair and help everyone that's in line right now. I'm a little annoyed. Excuse me? We have been waiting in line and you've just been sitting here doing nothing. It's not... The other associate says, ma'am, she isn't actually a Walmart associate and is actually supposed to be strictly in charge of phones. Surprised he came to my defense, she says, oh, I was just trying to help you. The other associate says, yes, I understand, but if you could just wait in line, I'll be able to assist you soon. Oh, okay. You see, I just thought I saw her. Yes, I understand, the other associate says. Then the Karen left without apologizing, of course, just kind of waddled off. The other associate and I just shared a look like, WTF was that? Karen didn't even go back to the line. In fact, she wasn't in line in the first place. I'd already helped her, and she left. And for some reason, felt the need to come back and yell at me. But yeah, so that's my little I don't work here story. I have a couple more, but this is the first one that came to mind. I think a lot of people could get useful perspective on humanity by going back to working as a retail associate. And our next story. I'm 9 months pregnant and wearing a suit. No, I don't work at this drugstore, sir. Longtime lurker of this sub, first-time poster. Honestly, never thought it would happen to me. I was in a generic drugstore/pharmacy yesterday after work to pick up some sore muscle balm for my back. I'm 9 months pregnant and clearly heavily pregnant, doing the waddle and all and dressed in a suit because my job requires it. Suit jacket unbuttoned because, LOL, I haven't been able to close that for about 4 months now. I'm on the phone with my mom because she and I have a daily ritual of checking in with each other after work every day. I started doing it when she lived alone to make sure she was okay, and it just continued when she got a live-in boyfriend. As I'm walking up a random aisle to make my way to the counter to pay, talking to my mom with my cell phone in one hand and the muscle balm in the other, a gentleman blocks me in the aisle and says, "Where are the razors?" Now he's looking right at me, and we're the only 2 people in the aisle, so I know he's talking to me, but I can't imagine why. I respond with, "I'm not sure. Pardon me, though, I'd like to get by." Dude doesn't move. He just stares at me for a minute. It's at this point when I have to ask my mom to hold on because I want all of my focus on this dude as I'm beginning to feel unease. Finally, "What do you mean you don't know?" I respond with, "Sir, I just came to get some muscle balm and I'd really like to pay for my purchase and leave. Please let me through the aisle." Then he takes another good long look at me and finally says, "You don't work here?" At this point, I'm just annoyed, tired, and wanting to get on with my life. And my stomach is too big to squeeze past him because he's still not moved. So I get kind of snippy. "Sir, I'm 9 months pregnant and wearing a suit and heels talking on my cell phone. What made you think I work here?" He finally just stared at me, dumbfounded, and stepped to the side a bit, so I waddled as fast as my fat pregnant ass could pass him. I booked it to the front cashier. Not super dramatic, but it did take me off guard because, well, I never thought I'd encounter someone so oblivious. Who knew? And our third story for today. Yes, I am in charge. This is my first time posting, and it's about an incident that happened when I turned 27 or 28 and was part of an electrician apprenticeship program through my local IBEW. That's the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. I was entering my 5th year of the 5-year program, basically making me the equivalent of a high school senior. In July of that year, I was working with one of the largest electrical contractors in my city and was assigned to work at one of their contracts for one of the local/largest oil refineries at one of the multiple plants they had in the area. In July, the apprenticeship started sending out what were unindentured apprentices who'd not yet started classes but were working to see if they would qualify for the program. It had a lot of new faces arriving daily. Since I was a senior apprentice, I was placed in charge of the apprentices that were part of the wire pull crew that did multiple 1,000-plus-foot wire pulls daily to help complete the new process unit we'd been assigned to do the electrical construction on. As we made our way up the many platforms and ladders at least 40 feet into the pipe rack and into the cable tray that supported the cables and wires, I would pass out position assignments based on skill levels. After 2 pulls, we all got down to take our morning break. I noticed a new face amongst the crowd, hanging around our little break area where we had our toolboxes/gang boxes/lunch boxes. I saw one guy sitting on top of my lunchbox, square ice chest. I approached him and said, "Hey buddy, I guess you didn't notice the name written all over that lunchbox you're sitting on. Who gave you permission to sit on my lunchbox?" The new guy stood up and looked at me, being a few inches shorter than me, but also looking to be in his mid-40s. "You can't tell me where to sit and not sit. Who put you in charge?" At that moment, the younger guy he was talking to stepped between us and led him away. After the union-mandated 15-minute break, me and my crew were gathered around the wire pull foreman, little blueprint check, to get ready for the next 5 pulls they had planned. At that time, a few of the new faces show up, led by the union steward who introduces them to the foreman as we broke up to go to our assigned locations. As usual, I was at a lot of the pull lifting the wire up from the ground level. Over the walkie-talkie radio, I heard a lot of chatter and felt the wire being jerked from behind me despite having a seasoned crew working. Multiple calls on walkie-talkie demanding whoever is pulling and jerking the wire to get in rhythm and not pull so forcefully, since we were at that moment pulling data wire that had fiber optics inside, which could be damaged. After the pull and tie down of the wire, I rushed down my platform to the ground after my foreman called us down on radios. At this point, I am livid and seeing red. I finally get to the bottom with my pull partner next to me trying to calm me down. I stop when I see my foreman yelling at the same guy who sat on my lunchbox. "Are you some kind of idiot? We might have to do the entire pull all over again because of you and your pulling of the wire, despite Nasty telling you over the radio to stop jerking the wire and stay with the pull count. 1, 2, 3, pull." The guy looks down at our barely 5'4" foreman and looks like he's gonna punch him. I proceeded to run up and stand at my full 5'11" height between him and the foreman when the a-hole opens his mouth. "Get the hell out of the way. This is between me and him. Who the hell are you anyway? You act like some big shot." I calmly stood there, and my foreman, as cool as a cucumber, goes, "He's actually your boss, the one in charge of the wire pull, and you just broke his perfect pull record of 400 pulls and no issues, a-hole." "My boss? He can't be. He's just a kid, barely 21. He's telling me what to do?" "Yeah, that's right," I tell him. "I'm your boss, old man, because I'm a 28-year-old 5th-year apprentice and you're over 40 barely entering this program. I'm also your senior in the union rolls. That's why I make the max $25 an hour to your $12 an hour, because I have more time on my electrical license than you do." He stood there with the realization that he was up the creek without a paddle, because he thought that since he was older, he'd be placed in charge of things. The union steward showed up and stood before him between the two of us, then turned to me and asked, "Nasty, what's going on here?" The look of realization on the new guy's face got even wider, and he actually got pale when he realized the name on the lunchbox, over the radio, and the one the foreman mentioned were all me. As I explained the situation and how the new guy had basically ruined at $100 per foot a 1,000-foot wire pull, the new guy turned even paler when he did the mental math, and I mentioned the $100,000 cost of that ruined pull. The union steward looks at him, then at me, then at him, and asks me directly, "Well, Nasty, you're in charge of this crew in the air. What do you want to do with them? Move him to another crew? Different plant? Fire him since he's not officially in the program yet?" The new guy almost looks like he wants to faint as he looks in my angry eyes, silently pleading not to fire him. Start the termination proceedings if Chaps, Chaparro, or Shorty, the nickname we had for our foreman, agrees with me since he's a financial and safety liability, since it's obvious he can't control his anger, let alone listen to instruction. My foreman looks at the steward with a gleam of joy in his eyes. I want him gone, not from the refinery, but the company and the local. Older new hires who think they're higher up simply because they're older can be hell. And thank you all for watching the video to the end. I'll see you in the next one.